Coming to the podium next is a minister who is earnest about her mandate and works not in isolation, but together with students, parents, teachers, and her officers to ensure that every decision made, every activity, and every outcome is to the benefit of the nation's children, the improvement of the country, and its education sector. To list the many great things that this individual and her team have spearheaded in such a short space of time would have us here indefinitely. But today is about STEAM and STEAM only. And on that note, let us welcome to the podium our Minister of Education, the Honourable Ms. Priya Manickchand.
Good morning to everyone here and to everyone listening and watching us because I understand we're going live. And just now, the chairperson who has done a fantastic job, so look out for her again. She'll probably be our official chairperson now at our events, said today is all about STEAM, and it is. But what is STEAM? STEAM is everything education. STEAM is how the world functions. STEAM is going to determine how we will be, how we'll respond. Science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics. A very short word for just about everything we're expected to do in the world. And while I was warned that my speech should not be long because then I get boring sometimes. That's by my own child. It is difficult to do this in 2 or 3 minutes. Guyana experienced one of our harshest periods in 2020. Harshest 2020 and going forward. We had the pandemic that was affecting the world, and we had the pandemic as a developing country. It meant two different things. Developing countries and developed countries, it meant two different things for the people of those lands. We had a prolonged election period which had the entire country in disarray and uncertainty, something that must never happen again. And we had, for the first time, the closure of schools and the request and necessity to deliver education in a way that we had never done before. So we had COVID as a developing country, where there were no vaccines, a healthcare system that was not prepared for a pandemic of that nature. We had an election period that threw everything out of whack. Ministers weren't functioning, government wasn't functioning. And we had the closure of schools from the beginning of time. Whether it was on the trees or on the benabs, we've always experienced only face-to-face education. This was the biggest test for the education system. Biggest test. And it is not an exaggeration to say that I believe we responded when the response started, which frankly was post-August 2020, we responded comparatively well as a developing country. The STEAM Fair was not something that was possible in any year prior to this because of the harsh consequences of COVID. And while we're all sitting here without masks, and very few of us still carry our sanitizers, we are still suffering in the classroom every single day, very visibly to us, the consequences of COVID. Learning loss that we have not been able to recover and repair. Lack of supervision during formative years for students showing up itself in all kinds of antisocial behavior that you are getting to see live and direct because we have social media. All of that was what we had to face head on. And right away, one of the first things we said we would do was attempt to deliver education by distance means. And right away, you saw action happening, worksheets being printed and distributed, television programs with teaching happening, radio instruction, online instruction, under trees instruction, and a whole host and range of activities that had us delivering education in a way that we had never hitherto done and that we did not have training to do. And what that period taught us is that we have right here in Guyana the resources we need to make this a first-class education system. And so you are going to see, and you have begun to see, a build-out of what is going to be the education system that is resilient to any type of unnatural or natural disaster or pandemics. You're going to see a continuation and multiplication of students doing well across the world, not only here in Guyana. And you're going to see statistics that we could only have ever dreamt of before. We are focused on making sure every student has access across nursery, primary, and secondary. So we're looking to achieve universal access to education in this country. Universal means all over, all over Guyana, up every hill, on every mountaintop, in every valley, next to every riverbank, on the coastland, wherever you are, regardless of your social circumstances, economic circumstances in your home, religious background, ethnicity, gender, wherever you are, you're going to be able to access education because we are bent and we insist that we are going to build that out. Right now, we have achieved universal primary education according to the United Nations standards. And we're in a massive drive to achieve universal secondary education. So as we speak, we are looking to build schools in Region 1 at Hosororo, Waramuri, Quebana, rebuild the Northwest Secondary, which was burnt by arson. We just finished building the Abram Zul Secondary. We're going to be building a brand new secondary school at Tushen and one at Vredenhoop. We're finishing off Good Hope in Region 4 and Yarra Cabra in Region 4. We'll begin to build Prospect in Region 4 shortly. In Georgetown, we are finishing the St. Rose's High School, Queen's College, Bishops, rebuilding the North Ruimveldt, which was destroyed by fire, rebuilding St. George's, which was destroyed by fire, building Christ Church, which was destroyed by fire, building back St. Mary's, and Region 5, we have all the schools we need, but we're putting in some transportation. In Region 6, we're building a brand new secondary school at Oriala. In Region 7, we're building a brand new secondary school at Jawala. In Region 8, we're building a school at Kopinang. In Region 9, we have begun already to build a school at Karasabay, and we're extending Aishalton. My friends, this will be something we have never been able to do before. And while secondary education is accessible to you out here, what happens in those regions is that when kids reach grade 9, they're then told bye-bye. See you later. And that just means that their education is stopped abruptly. That will be a thing of the past in about a year's time. That is a massive undertaking that we ask the country to join us in doing. Even as we're building out those schools, we are aiming to have 100% of our teachers trained or in training by 2025. We're actually in the only teachers training college in the country here right now. They're hosting us, the Cyril College of Education. And we have never been able to reach in this country more than 75, 77% of our teachers trained. We are on a mission to make sure every single teacher, every person in the system gets trained. Because while we have seen untrained teachers do some good work, we are sure that once trained, we're more likely to get better quality. So we're not just building out the infrastructure, we're making sure once we get children in those classrooms, they will have a high quality education in the classroom. Even as we do that, we are providing textbooks to all the children of this country. And so by September of this year, all the children, nursery, primary, secondary, will have all the textbooks they need. That has never happened in Guyana. And I'm giving you some homework. Am I going too fast for you? I'm giving you some homework. Go and research where else in the Caribbean that happens. Where else in the Caribbean that happens? I'll give you a hint. Nowhere. Where the government is providing free of charge all the textbooks the teachers told us they need for children as well as teachers. Even as we do that, we have just begun to provide breakfast for all grade 6 children across this country. That is in addition to providing hot meals for all the children of nursery and primary in the hinterland. And that is in addition to providing fortified biscuits and natural fruit juices to all the children from nursery to grade 2. And then come July, all our children will receive $40,000 each. Not every household, every single child in the country who's going to school will receive $40,000. What we're trying to do is to build out an infrastructure where our children are comfortable and where they have all the resources they need to be anything they want to be. And today in the choral speaking and the dance, you saw a good portrayal, I think, of how we are moving away from the place where you had to be a doctor or a lawyer or come from wealthy family before you could make it in this country. You saw engineers, you saw the doctors and the lawyers, but you saw farmers and you saw engineers and you saw cooks and you saw chefs. Chefs is probably the right word. See the education people looking at me a little funny there. You saw chefs and you saw dancers, somebody with her tutu, and you saw housewives. And what we are building out in this country is a place where everybody gets an opportunity to be whatever they want to be, and the environment where that is supported so that each family is successful. Even as the buildings go up and the roads and bridges are built, and the skyline changes. The President, His Excellency Irfan Ali, has been very clear that he believes the best investment is investment in our people, in our children, in our next generation. And so you are going to see a better quality human coming out of the school system. While we want to, and we will continue, topping CSEC and topping CAPE in the region, we also want to see more rounded students. So we want to make sure every child exits the secondary school academically sound, but also with exposure to at least one instrument, one sport, one foreign language, one TVET subject, and a strong sense of volunteerism. We have to do that together. The parents, the teachers, the Ministry of Education, the public at large. And so, my friends, this is an extremely exciting time to be a teacher. It's an extremely exciting time to be a student. It's an extremely exciting time to lead the Ministry of Education, and it's a really, really nice time to look on at what kind of product we're putting out. This is the generation, I believe, I hope, where we have a responsibility to teach them to end the bigotry, that it's backward, that it is classless, that it is not cool to be bigoted, to see ethnicities as different and lesser, to see religious views as different and lesser and weird, to look at gender as something that is to be discriminated against. This is the generation that we have to end it at, because those bigoted views hold an entire people back. And you see our children, they will not be held back. They will not be held back. So we have to make sure that we are not leaving children behind. The children who are not bigoted, who are taught not to be bigots, who are taught how uncool that is, are the children who will race ahead. And those who are taught in their homes that there must be a holding on to some of these views are the children who will be left behind. And all of us struggle every day to make sure our children are better than we are. So make sure as adults, as parents, as grandparents and aunties and church leaders, that you are not teaching or practicing behavior that will leave your children behind, because it is a different world. It's a world where everybody has a chance, but it's a world where everybody also has to grab opportunities and avail themselves of what's available. I see commentary that hurts my heart where people find every reason why something cannot be accessed or should not be accessed. Those are the people who will be left behind. I saw the Guyana Online Academy of Learning. They're here somewhere in this compound. They're currently graduating students with postgraduate diplomas and masters and PhDs. Students who took the opportunity. When the government said a year ago, we have this program where we will pay for you to study online at renowned universities, you had two categories of persons. Those who trusted the government and stepped forward and opened their arms and accepted the opportunities, availed themselves of the opportunities, and those who said, don't bother with them. They're lying, nothing not gonna work out. These are not good universities. And today, you have two sets of people. Those looking on at those graduating, getting improved salaries and getting opportunities for promotion, and those who are getting those opportunities. Make sure you choose wisely in this new Guyana. It's going to have many, many opportunities, but you have to decide which side you'll stand on. The side that is positive and optimistic and availing yourself of the opportunities provided by a government who says we want all to be involved, all to develop equally, or the side who finds something wrong with just about everything under the sun. Because you will have a choice. In these kinds of developing countries where opportunities are aplenty, there isn't much space for people to come and hold your hand and take you to the opportunity. You have to race to those doors to be able to access what services are behind the doors. So this morning, in my very short speech, see, I follow instructions, I take great pleasure in inviting you to go booth to booth. And for the parents who are home with your children, take a half day off, get away from work, bring them to this fair so that they could see the different innovations, the different things that children their own age are doing from all across this country. It's not the Queen's College and bishops alone here. Anna Regina is here, Abram Zul is here, Golden Grove is here, Hope is here. Schools across this country are here today participating. Bring your children here to see the various innovations happening, to see how they themselves could take things in their backyard and make it into something valuable. And have a look yourself at how that is unfolding in our country. I want to recognize Tiffany Harvey and her team, because what you see here took a lot of effort and a lot of energy, even as we were doing everything else that the ministry requires. And I can't recognize you name by name, but I want to recognize you in a special way and say that I feel particularly lucky that I have you on my team and that we're together in this period in the country's history. I think we have the best team that we could possibly ask for. And I think I'm the luckiest minister of education to have had that collection of people. So this morning, I take great pleasure in inviting you to go booth by booth and in declaring the National STEAM Fair 2023 open. God bless you.